What's up, people? Welcome back to Daily Red Devil for all of your latest Manchester United transfer news and talk. I hope everyone is doing well on this Monday morning. I hope you're not all too tired after the game last night. We will jump into that in a minute and I will give you guys my thoughts. But before we get started on this morning's show, please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel if you are new. We've got so much to get into today. So yeah, do get involved in the comment section. I try and make it as interactive as possible. So do let me know your thoughts on all of the topics we discuss on today's show. Right, well, let's start off the show by talking about the game last night really quickly. Some of you may have watched it, some of you may have not. Obviously, it was a 3-2 loss to Dortmund. Overall, I don't think it was that bad. I was quite happy with how we played generally. It was a little bit strange how in the first half we put out kind of the reserve team. I was a little bit confused by that, but overall, I thought it was a good performance. I did. I thought Pellistri looked good. I thought Sancho looked good. Yeah, I thought it was good. You know, for a pre-season match, it didn't really make me feel that we were going to win the league, or it didn't really make me feel that we weren't going to do well. You know, I thought it was okay. But do let me know in the comment section, how did you find the game if you watched it? I'm not going to lie, I am now just ready for the Premier League season to start. I'm a little bit bored of the pre-season matches. They just don't really have the same kind of, well, they just don't, do they? They just don't have the same feeling as a proper Premier League match, do they? So 2 weeks today, guys, we play our first game of the season against Wolverhampton Wanderers. 8 o'clock kickoff UK time. We will, of course, be doing a watch along for that one. So yeah, really excited about that. But generally, I wasn't that excited about the game last night. I thought, you know, it was fine. There was nothing particularly amazing, but there wasn't anything particularly bad. It was just a pre-season match. The one thing that I did want to bring up really early on into the show and address, and this is something you're going to see all over the media today. And I was listening to TalkSport this morning, which I don't do that often. But anyway, I put on TalkSport whilst I was eating my breakfast, and it was Gabby Agbonlahil, who I know is just, he is probably one of the worst, isn't he, on there? And they were already slating off Onana. Anybody who watched the game last night would have saw that Onana had a go at Maguire because he made a mistake, right? Already, the pundits are having a go at Onana, saying he shouldn't speak to Maguire like that, it's not fair, like blah, blah, blah. Like, they're already going for him. Like, honestly, I honestly couldn't believe it. I honestly was like so shocked. But yeah, anybody who saw the game last night, let me know what you think about that. At the end of the day, that's what a goalkeeper should be doing. And I think for the last 10 plus years, David De Gea was like a silent mouse in the goal. And I'm all for it, you know? If somebody makes a mistake in the defence, let the goalkeeper tell them that. Like, why would you not do that? And already you've got all of these kind of English press journalists coming out being like, oh, Onana shouldn't have done that to Maguire. Like, he's such an easy target. And honestly, it really did frustrate me this morning. So yeah, and I've already seen like BBC Sports. I've seen like 2 or 3 different big UK platforms, all like Harry Maguire was, you know, shouted at by Onana. It's like, what is this? Like a playground? Like, come on, this is professional sports. Of course, there's going to be some level of emotion. And yeah, it was just frustrating to hear, to be completely honest. But yeah, overall, it was an all right match. Nothing really particularly to report in that sense. Yeah, but let me know in the comments section, guys, how did you find the match if you watched it? My main taking point from it was it's just more minutes. It's just more legs, you know, minutes in the legs for the players. Obviously, the Anthony goal was quite nice. The Dalot goal was really nice. The Dortmund goals were all a bit scrappy, to be completely honest. But yeah, overall, I wasn't really that, you know, blown away by it. And that's why I didn't bother doing a watch along. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning. I was in bed. Don't really want to be doing a watch along at like 2 o'clock in the morning. Not really up for that. So yeah, anyway, let me know if you did watch it. Let me know what you thought. But let's talk about Manchester United. Let's talk about what's going on in the rest of the world, because there is so much to get into on the show this morning. So let's start off with Maguire then. Let's talk about the centre-back situation at Manchester United. So there's a story that's coming out in the last 24 hours saying that apparently Manchester United are now asking for 40 to 50 million pounds for Harry Maguire. I don't know what to make of that. I know last week we heard they wanted 40. Now it's saying anywhere between 40 and 50. That's why in the video title I've said Maguire staying. I just don't think we're going to get this type of money for Harry Maguire, to be completely honest with you. Obviously, we had a £20 million bid rejected last week from West Ham, didn't we? I just don't think we're going to get anything close to 40. If we do, that's an absolute miracle and that's amazing. But I honestly cannot see it. And to follow on from that, the reason why I think Maguire probably will now stay is our number one centre-back target, which was said by Fabrizio, all these other journalists, was Axel Disasi. And if anybody missed it, Axel Disasi has agreed to join Chelsea. So Axel Disasi is going to move to Chelsea for 45 million euros. So our number one centre-back option is now going to another... Well, it's probably not even our number one centre-back option. Kim Min-jae was our number one option. We missed out on him. Our second option was Desicion, and now he's going to Chelsea. So I just don't really see what would, put it this way. Say we sell Harry Maguire now for 30 million. Who do we replace him with? We didn't get Kim Min-jae and we haven't got Desicion. So who do we go after then? Maybe Erik ten Hag sat there thinking, right, I've missed out on my first two targets, Kim Min-jae and Desicion. Do I now go in for the third choice option, or do I just keep Maguire for one more year? That's the kind of thing that I think they'll be all discussing, because at the end of the day, £20 million for Maguire isn't very good. I accept that. It really, really isn't. And, when you see people like Desicion, who I know lots of people in the chat don't even really rate, going for 45, if you sell Maguire for 20, then who are we now going to go and buy? Like, who is available in the market? Let me know in the chat, actually. This would be a really good one to get some of your points. Say we do sell Maguire this window, yeah? Who would you then go and buy as your replacement centre-back, taking in mind that obviously Kim Min-jae's gone to Bayern and Desicion is now moving to Chelsea? Who would be your replacement for Harry Maguire? Or, I said this months ago, I would be happy with just what we've got at the moment. I like Luke Shaw as a left-sided centre-back, if worst comes to worst. I'd give a youth player a chance. I'd keep Johnny Evans. I honestly think we would cope with that, but I just don't think Ten Hag will take that risk. I think he does want to have 4 proper centre-backs at the club, even if one of them is Harry Maguire. So I do feel a little bit like maybe that Harry Maguire will stay now, because nobody's going to give us the 40-50 million that we're asking for. Let's be completely real about this. Nobody is going to do that. If they do, then obviously you can say, Kieran, you're completely wrong, and I'll happily accept that, but I just don't think it will happen, to be completely honest with you. I think 30 million would be fine. But again, will West Ham come back in for him? I'm not too sure, to be completely honest with you. There was another story coming out in the last kind of 24 hours saying that ultimately West Ham won't come back in for Harry Maguire now. This was coming in from The Athletic, and they said that, they ultimately said that West Ham won't be coming back in for Harry Maguire. 20 million was kind of their best and final offer. Hopefully that is just a bargaining tactic. Hopefully they do come back. Hopefully they put in a bigger bid. But at this point, yeah, I'm not really too sure. I just can't imagine West Ham giving us 30+ million for Maguire, mainly because of his wages. He's not a bad player, but he's not worth 30 million plus 240 grand a week in wages. He definitely isn't. So maybe this week things will change. Maybe they come back in for him, but I do think that West Ham probably can go and get a better player than Harry Maguire for 30 million. They're looking at that other guy, aren't they? Is it Jonathan Tah? I think his name is. There are other people out there that Jonathan Tah, German footballer from Bayern Leverkusen. So they are looking at other targets. They're not just 100% trying to get Harry Maguire. So I'm a little bit concerned about that one. But yeah, I've kind of gone past the point of really, really obsessing over the Maguire situation. I've kind of accepted that he's going to stay. And honestly, when that bid came in last week from West Ham for 20 million, I was literally in shock. I honestly couldn't believe it. I know it was a lowball offer. I accept that. It was a joke of an offer, but I just didn't honestly think that anybody was going to bid for him. We had people saying that it'll be a loan move, it'll be this, it'll be that, and somebody actually offered us money for him. I couldn't believe it. I really, really couldn't. And people would say, Kieran, he's an England international. Why are you saying this about him? I get that. But his stock price at Manchester United is at rock bottom. It literally is. It couldn't be any lower than it ever has been in his whole career. He's been stripped of the captaincy. His performances weren't very good last season. All of the fans, you even saw last night, there was fans booing him and stuff, which I don't agree with whatsoever. But fans are booing him. Do you know what I mean? He's literally is at rock bottom at the moment. He really, really is. But yeah, let me know on that one. Do you think that Harry Maguire will stay at Manchester United? Let me know in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts on this one. And if you do think he will go, let me know who you would sign as the replacement, bearing in mind that Kim Min-jae's gone to Bayern and Desasi's now moving to Chelsea. I think that's the major issue here. Manchester United will look at the people available on the market and say, well, we've missed out on the first 2 targets. Unless Erik ten Hag has 3 or 4 other options there. He could have got Yuri and Timber, I guess. He could have got, obviously, Kim Min-jae, Desasi. All of those people are now unavailable. So I don't really see who we're going to get to replace him. Obviously, we have been linked to Benjamin Pavard, who is a player I do quite like from Bayern Munich. And obviously, he can play as a centre-back and a right-back. So if it was up to me, if I was going to pick who would be Maguire's replacement, I would go and get Benjamin Pavard. But the big issue here is, will Benjamin Pavard be happy to be the 4th choice centre-back? I don't think he would. He's a French international. He's playing for Bayern Munich. Why would he come to Manchester United to be the 4th choice centre-back? I just don't really see it personally. And I think that would have even been the same with someone like Axel Disasi and Kim Min-jae. Maybe Kim Min-jae went to Bayern Munich because they said, you're going to be the 1st choice centre-back. You're going to start every single match. Whereas at Manchester United, he was like, what? So am I going to be behind Harry Maguire? Am I going to be the 5th choice? So that's the bit that really, really Martinez and Varane, for me, are the first choice centre-backs. There's absolutely no debate about that for me. Lindelof's the third choice, and then Harry Maguire's the fourth, right? If we bring in a new centre-back, then where are they going to be in that kind of pecking order? They're not going to play ahead of Martinez unless he gets injured. They're probably not going to play in front of Lindelof to begin with, because I think Lindelof earned the trust of the fans and the manager in the second half of the season. So it is a bit of an interesting one. And obviously we will keep you updated as and when we get more news on the Harry Maguire situation. But as always, yeah, do just let me know in the comment section who you would like to see as the centre-back if we did let go of Harry Maguire. And also let me know what the maximum price, or say the minimum price actually, that you think we could get for Harry Maguire. Let me know, as I always love to see you guys' opinions. Just a quick one. We've got, if everybody who's watching could please smash a like on the video really, really quickly. It helps get more people into the chat, which is of course appreciated. And please do subscribe to the channel if you are new here. It's completely free. It doesn't cost any money. So get involved in the community. Right, let's crack on with the rest of the show, though. So, yeah, obviously we spoke about Maguire, we spoke about Desicion. Just finally on that one, let me know as well if you're upset about Desicion going to Chelsea. Is he somebody that you wanted to see at Manchester United? Are you really, really devastated about this? Me personally, I'm not particularly. I didn't really rate him that much, so I'm not at all. I wouldn't say it's bad that he's going to Chelsea. Like, I'm not. Whereas Kim Min-jae, I was quite gutted. I'm not going to lie. Like, I really like Kim Min-jae. But yeah, let me know in the comment section how you feel about Desicion. Are you upset that he's going to Chelsea, or do you not really care, to be completely honest? Right, let's talk about some outgoings then really, really quickly. So there's a story coming in from Fabrizio Romano talking about Fred. And he says, a move for Fred to Galatasaray is not yet guaranteed, as there is no deal yet and other clubs are interested. A departure is crucial to make room for Sofian Amrabat, for whom an offer has yet to arrive. So, as it stands, we're still waiting for Fred to find a new club, which is pretty mad, isn't it? Like, I don't understand why it's taken so long to get Fred out of the door. You know, Fred is currently training at Carrington. I've seen with Eric Bailly. Yeah, I don't really know, to be honest. Let me know what you think about that one. There is some breaking news coming in as well, guys, which I think you guys will, well, some of you will like this. I think everyone will, actually. So this is coming in from literally every single journalist in the UK, and they're reporting that Manchester United will announce the decision on Mason Greenwood within the next 2 weeks. Let me know how you feel about that one. Let me just read the whole thing out for you. 1 second, guys. I'm just going to get this up for you. Obviously, whilst it's live, when we're live, it makes it quite difficult to read out the breaking news. Right, let's crack on with it. So we've got some breaking news about Mason Greenwood. This is coming out from The Telegraph, it's coming out from Samuel Luckhurst, it's coming out from all of the UK journalists, and they're announcing the following. Manchester United will announce the findings of their internal investigation into Mason Greenwood in advance of their first game against Wolves on August 14th. So our first game is 2 weeks today, and from what's being reported today, the decision will be made public within 2 weeks. So within 2 weeks, we'll know whether Mason Greenwood will still be at the club, whether he'll be sent out on loan, whether he'll be released from his contract. We will find out within 2 weeks, which is really good, because it's another thing that it was just really getting me down, that I don't want to go into the season with all of this potential negativity and uncertainty. They need to tell us what's going on with Mason Greenwood. It can't just keep going on and on and on and on. Like, we all really, really need to know what's happening. So whichever way it goes, I am happy that this decision has been made and that they will announce their decision within 2 weeks. So with it, by the time the season starts, 2 weeks today, we will know whether Mason Greenwood will be a Manchester United player or not. Obviously, we did speak about this at length yesterday, so I'm not going to kind of go over all of the ins and outs of Mason Greenwood, to be completely honest with you. But the key bit of information that I want to get across to you is that by the time the season starts, we will know whether Mason Greenwood will be a Manchester United player or not. I mean, that could be this week, it could be next week. As I said, the season starts 2 weeks today, guys. All they've said is that they will announce the results of their investigation, whatever that means, within 2 weeks. So yeah, we've just got to be a little bit more patient, and then we will know exactly what is going on with Mason Greenwood. There's a really, really quick one on Harry Maguire. Sorry, not Harry Maguire, Harry Kane. This is coming out in the last couple of minutes from Fabrizio Romano. I know a lot of you in the chat are really, really excited about Harry Kane and are really disappointed we're not going for him. So this is coming out from Fabrizio. He says, it's crucial hours for the Harry Kane deal. Bayern Munich are set to offer 80 million euros package bid. I mean, how much is 80 million euros? It's not very much, is it? I know it's going to be less than what we paid for Hojlund, isn't it? Yeah. Oh my God. I mean, 80 million euros is 68 million pounds. So apparently Bayern Munich are going to submit their third bid for Harry Kane, and it will be around 80 million euros total package, which is about 68 million pounds. I mean, if they get Harry Kane for 68 million pounds, that's absolutely mental, isn't it? I do think that Daniel Levy will sell him, though. I think he has to. But yeah, anyway, I don't think we're going to get him, so I don't really know why I don't really know why fans are still so obsessed over Harry Kane. Like, I would love to have him at the club, but I just, yeah, after what we heard yesterday about him supposedly wanting these ridiculous these ridiculous wages, I just can't see Manchester United doing that deal, to be honest with you. Right. But yeah, so it looks like we will have a solution to the Harry Kane saga, if you want to call it, within the next kind of couple of weeks. It looks like Bayern Munich are putting in a new bid of 68 million pounds. I mean, if Manchester United should just enter the race, shouldn't they? They should just offer a cheeky 70 million pound offer, just so at least like we're in there, you know. But we probably won't. So yeah. Right, let's move on to the next story. Obviously, those two bits of stories we just gave you were breaking. They weren't kind of part of the show. So the Harry Kane and the Mason Greenwood thing, they were unexpected bits of news. So yeah, there you go. I do try and bring you all of the bits of stories as and when they come out live. So right, let's crack on though. Let's move on with the rest of the show. Right, let's talk about Dean Henderson. I'm not going to lie to you. There's been quite a few bits of slightly, maybe let's say, disappointing news this morning. It does look like Arsenal are now negotiating with Matt Turner, who is obviously the backup goalkeeper at Arsenal. If anybody missed all of the news yesterday, Arsenal are reportedly putting in a bid for David Raya from Brentford. And it looks like Matt Turner, who's the American goalkeeper who plays for Arsenal, is now in negotiations with Nottingham Forest. And you're probably thinking, Kieran, this isn't an Arsenal channel. Why the hell are we talking about this? But the really key bit of information here is, obviously, if Nottingham Forest signed Matt Turner from Arsenal, they won't then go for Dean Henderson. So this is what Fabrizio Romano said on the situation. He says, Nottingham Forest will only sign one goalkeeper this summer, and it's between Matt Turner and Dean Henderson. Forest have already asked Arsenal for the final conditions of the Turner deal, and it'd be a permanent transfer. I mean, can I just say from the off, why is it that Nottingham Forest are willing to buy Matt Turner, right? That's what Fabrizio says. Forest have already asked for the final conditions of the Turner deal. It would be a permanent transfer, right? Nottingham Forest are willing to pay for Matt Turner. But with Dean Henderson, they want him on loan with an option to buy. I mean, how does that make any sense? It really, really doesn't, does it? Do Nottingham Forest think we're stupid? I mean, we probably are stupid, to be fair. So, I mean, they may as well try it. But yeah, so it does look like now Dean Henderson might. I don't know what's going to happen with Dean Henderson. Let's just hope that this is just a negotiation tactic from Nottingham Forest, and they're just kind of throwing another goalkeeper's name into the mix. But I don't know why they'd be asking for the conditions and finding out how much money they want if it was just a kind of bluff. So yeah, I'm not really too sure about that one, to be honest. I said yesterday, like, I genuinely would rather have Dean Henderson as the backup goalkeeper than loan him out. I just think loaning him out's pointless. I really do. Unless we can actually get some good money for him, then what's the point? And if you loan him, remember, you've still got to pay half of his wages probably. Nottingham Forest probably won't even pay all of his wages. So you loan him out, you pay half of his wages, and then in 6 months' time, they say, we don't want to sign him. And then you're back to square one. Like, I honestly would rather just keep him as the backup goalkeeper, to be honest. Or unless we can get him on a permanent transfer. If we can get money for him now, 100% sell him. But if it's a case of loaning him with potentially someone will buy him in a few years' time, like, I just wouldn't bother doing that personally. But let me know in the comments section, what would you do with Dean Henderson? Would you be happy for him to stay at the club? Or, yeah, for me, it's either he stays or he goes on a permanent deal. I don't see the point in loaning him out. I just think loans are a complete waste of time, to be honest, unless they're like a 19, 20-year-old player who needs experience. Like, Dean Henderson clearly doesn't need experience. He's played in the Premier League. He's played for England. Like, he's 26. Yeah, but let me know what you think about that one. Let me know what you think about Dean Henderson. Obviously, I've said my piece. I guess the only thing that I will add to that is, obviously, he has kind of burned the bridge with Erik ten Hag and with Manchester United. I think, like, a lot of the fans don't really trust Dean Henderson anymore, me included. So maybe it is better to just get rid of him, because maybe he was the one doing the leaks. You know, we don't know, do we? We don't know how the relationship was between Dean Henderson and the club. But all we do know is that he did come out and do that interview, didn't he, with TalkSport, and he was quite damning towards he was quite damning towards the club, wasn't he? And he wasn't speaking about it respectfully at all. So yeah, let me know what everybody thinks about that one. But for me personally, I'm just hoping and praying that Nottingham Forest do come back in with a proper bid, not a loan deal, and we can get that one over the line, because otherwise it's just very, very frustrating, isn't it? Right, so let's talk about Amrabat really, really quickly. So there was a bit of a story coming out last night that a club in Saudi Arabia were apparently in for Sofyan Amrabat. So I can't pronounce the name. Al-Ali? Al-Ali. This is coming out from Alfredo Padula, who's that really good Italian journalist, and he is reporting that Al-Ali are looking at a potential deal for Sofyan Amrabat, but the player has prioritised Manchester United after already agreeing personal terms. Midfield outgoings will be crucial to any official deal. So it does look like another club has entered the race for Sofyan Amrabat. But to be completely honest with you, I do think that he would rather move to Manchester United than move to Saudi Arabia. Obviously, that's what this journalist has said anyway. The player has prioritised a Manchester United move after already agreeing personal terms. So there is another club in the race for the Amrabat deal now. Hopefully, this just means that we move faster, because we need to get Amrabat 100%. We need to make sure we get him into the club. And as we said before, this whole thing where we need to sell players in order to buy, it isn't actually true, because we don't have to balance our books until April 2024, so we do still have the January transfer window to get our books in the financial fair play in order. So hopefully this week we see Amrabat come through the door. We are expecting as well on the Rasmus Hojlund deal. We are expecting him to have a medical in Manchester in the next kind of 24 to 48 hours. And we are hoping that we will see him for the very first time on Saturday. On Sunday. We've got our final pre-season match, which is against Atletico Bilbao, I believe. So this weekend we've got 2 games. We've got one on the Saturday and one on the Sunday. The one on the Saturday is expected to be the youth team, and then on the one on the Sunday is expected to be the first team, I believe. So yeah, hopefully we see him in that game. Hopefully we do, because I think we need him 100%. We need both Rasmus and Amrabat. And the one thing I want to add as well, one thing I wanted to add about the game last night, the amount of times we put the ball crossed the ball into the box, so many times, and there was never anybody there to get it in. That's why we need Hojlund, because literally at the moment, crossing the ball into the box is completely pointless. Like, there is nobody in the box to ever score, ever. So yeah, hopefully Hojlund comes in and gets his gets his foot on a couple of the end of these crosses, because there is plenty of opportunities going into that box, but nobody ever seems to get on the end of it, which is very, very frustrating. But I think that's just a case of, if you don't have a striker, if you don't have a number 9, then what do you really expect at the end of the day, to be completely honest with you? Somebody in the chat saying we're gonna hijack the Gvardiol deal. I mean, I don't think that will happen, to be honest, mate. They want 100 million for him. I don't think we'll get Gvardiol. I mean, I'd love to get Gvardiol from from Leipzig, but yeah, I very, very much doubt that will happen. But yeah, so hopefully this week we get Amrabat, here we go, and we get Rasmus Hojlund in the Manchester United shirt. Obviously, as we all know, the season starts 2 weeks today, so it's absolutely essential that both of those players are in the club this week, so we can really start pressing on with the season, because you know what happened at the beginning of last season when we weren't fully prepared. We lost the first 2 games. I'm not saying that will happen. I think I'm quite confident about the Wolverhampton game. So our first 3 games are Wolverhampton at home, and then we've got Tottenham Hotspur away, and then we've got Nottingham Forest at home. I've got a question for you, actually. From the first 3 games of the season, how many points do you think we'll pick up? So our first 3 games are Wolves at home, Tottenham away, and Nottingham Forest at home. Let me know in the comments section, how many points will we pick up from our first 3 Premier League matches? I'm going for 7. I think we'll beat Wolverhampton Wanderers. I think we'll draw with Tottenham, and I think we'll beat Nottingham Forest. I'm going for 7 points out of the first 9, which I think is good. I do. I know people will say, oh, we should be beating Tottenham, but Tottenham away from home with a new manager, their first home game of the season, is not the easiest game. So yeah, I think 7 points out of the first 9. Yeah, I think that'll be good. But hopefully there's some more people in the chat who are saying 9, 100%. We're going to do really, really well. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Some people are saying 6, some people are saying 9. Yeah, I might do my season prediction today, actually. What do you think about that? Should I do my Premier League season prediction, table today? I think I might. So Barman says 9 points. Anything less than 9 is a disaster. Okay. I don't think anything less than 9 is a disaster personally, but obviously if that's what you think, that's up to you. I think anything less than 7 is a disaster. if we didn't beat Wolves and didn't beat Forest, and then lost to Tottenham, I would say that was bad, you know. But at the end of the day, Tottenham are rubbish. So if we should go out and beat them, shouldn't we? Really, but yeah, I mean, as somebody says in the chat, Tottenham probably won't have Harry Kane by then, and they probably won't have a replacement either. 2 weeks, you know, 2 weeks, they're not going to sign a replacement for Harry Kane, I doubt. So they might have a kind of shaky start to the season, mightn't they? If they, you know, if they lose Harry Kane and then they don't sort a replacement yet, then they probably will have a bit of a shaky start. Right, let's move on with the rest of the show, though. Okay, let's crack on with some more. So we've got a bit of an update from Ten Hag on the Kobbie Mainoo injury. So after the game last night, Eric was asked about the Kobbie Mainoo injury, and he said it was really disappointing. He was doing brilliant, but that happens in football and you have to deal with it. I hope he'll be back quickly. We'll support him, but he must do it by himself. I'm sure he'll be back because he is so resilient. So yeah, obviously really, really sad about Kobbie Mainoo. He is somebody that I did think will break into the team this season. A bit frustrating, but it is what it is, isn't it? There's not really too much we can do about it. And as somebody said in the chat the other day, like, he was never going to be a first team starter immediately for Manchester United. He wasn't. He was somebody who was going to slowly build into the team. And I do think the experience he's got in these preseason matches has been absolutely vital, to be completely honest with you. So yeah, obviously it's really, really sad. And yeah, but we'll have to just wish him a speedy recovery. Right, what have we got? Let's have a look what people are saying in the chat today. I haven't read out any messages. I will come to the chat in a minute then, all right? We've got 400 of you watching this morning, which is absolutely incredible when you consider that most of you were probably up till about 4 in the morning watching the football. So please do smash a like on the video and please do subscribe if you haven't already. We're on the road to 8k subscribers now, so let's see how quickly we can get there. We're about 30 subscribers away from 7,600. So please go and subscribe. Please do smash a like on the video. Somebody in the chat saying, what did you think of Marcus Rashford last night? I mean, to be completely honest, like, Marcus hasn't really done that much in pre-season, has he? I don't know whether maybe he's a bit injured or something. I don't know, because he only came on for like the last 30 minutes of the game, didn't he? I'm not sure. To be honest with you, I'm not going to slag people off in pre-season. That's just not something I'm going to do. I'm not the type of person who, even in the middle of a season, is going to kind of be calling out our players and screaming at the screen to try and get a reaction. Like, that's not what I want to do with this channel. I want to try and be positive. I'm not going to be unrealistic though. If somebody has a bad performance, we can talk about it, but I'm not going to sit here screaming at the screen if you know, just for you guys, you know, for likes and clicks. If somebody puts in one bad performance, that's just not something I'm going to do. But overall, pre-season, like, obviously he isn't up to speed yet, but Casemiro isn't. You know, there's 2 or 3 of those first team players who are not quite up to speed yet. So it is what it is, isn't it? You know, they're just getting minutes back in their legs. It's not an immediate thing. Voice of Reason says, are you worried about Antony's ineffectiveness in games? Eric Ten Hag said he wants to be in the best transition team in the world, but Antony slows down play and never goes on the outside. I prefer Pellistri. I wouldn't say I'm worried at this point because I trust Eric Ten Hag, and Eric Ten Hag has showed his ruthless nature. So if Antony isn't working within his system, then I'm sure he will sub him out. That's what I think, to be completely honest with you. So I'm not really worried. If it was Ollie, I'd be worried because Ollie would just play the same people every single week. He had his favourites. Whereas I do think that Ten Hag does have that ruthless edge. There were so many games last season where he would sub out Antony, and Antony would look devastated, but he would still do it. So I'm not worried about like favoritism with Eric Ten Hag. I don't think he does favoritism. I think he treats everybody fairly, in my opinion. He treats people based on how they perform. And I think that if Antony doesn't perform in the way he wants him to, he'll bring him off. So I wouldn't really say I'm worried about that, to be completely honest with you. The only kind of worry you could say is that if he does that, then obviously he's never going to reach the price tag we paid for him. But at the end of the day, I don't really care about that, to be honest. Like, I'm here to support Manchester United. I want Manchester United to win football matches. I want to see good football. I don't really care about rival fans bantering us in a couple of years' time if, you know, Eric Ten Hag has put Antony on the bench and Pellestri's tearing it up. Like, I'm not really too bothered about that, to be completely honest with you. But yeah, let me know what you think about that one. Is anybody else worried about Antony? I don't think so. Not me personally. As I said, I think he is a good player to have, and even a player off the bench to use. I think he's really, really good in that sense, because if he doesn't start matches and comes off the bench, I think he is a really, really good asset to have. But yeah, I wouldn't say I'm worried about him just yet. One thing I wanted to bring into the show really, really quickly, just as a bit of fun, but I'm sure you guys have already seen this, but our new striker, Rasmus Hojlund, is currently the top goal scorer in the European qualifiers for next season's Euros. 6 goals in 4 games. I was just looking at the infographic earlier. He scored more goals than Lukaku, Harry Kane, Cristiano Ronaldo. Absolutely amazing, isn't it? 6 goals in 4 games for Denmark. Really, really excited about him. Really, really excited. Yeah, and I'm just hoping that we get the kind of pictures of him in the shirt within the next few days, and then we see him on Saturday in our pre-season match. Right, let's crack on with some more news, though. We will come back to the comment section in a little bit if you so do get your questions in, and I will come back to them in a little bit from now. Yeah, as somebody says in the chat, like Ten Hag doesn't have favourites. He just had a limited options on the bench. Yeah, I honestly don't think that Ten Hag does favouritism. I don't. Like, he treats everybody fairly, in my opinion. He really, really does. Like, even Martinez, when he came back from the World Cup, he didn't play Martinez for like a month, did he? You know, Antony is usually the first player to come off the pitch in most games. So, yeah, I'm not really too worried because I genuinely think that if Antony doesn't perform, if he doesn't play the system that he wants, he'll just bring him off the pitch. Yeah, obviously the price tag is absolutely crazy. I accept that, and maybe that's a bit of a worry. Have we wasted 80+ million pounds on Antony? I don't think it's the right time to kind of make that decision yet, but maybe in 2 seasons' time, if he's still, you know, say he's only getting 5 goals and assists in a season, then obviously, yeah, we can have that conversation then. But I'm not the type of person after 1 season who's going to start shouting at the screen, he's a flop, get him out of my club. Like, that's just not who I am. I've seen people in the chat and in other communities saying Mason Mount's a flop after 3 pre-season matches, and like, I just don't think that's very fair, to be completely honest with you. Like, yeah, I think people do deserve a chance. I know it's professional sport, I know we have expectations, but it does take time to kind of get people to that level. So yeah, let's try and be like realistic about this. Let's have a look. Somebody's right. So Voice of Reason says, I just don't think Antony suits transition football. Yeah, I get that, but at the end of the day, it's Erik ten Hag and his coaches' job to make him suit that type of football, you know? It's his job to make him work in the system that he wants him to play. He must suit... I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't really ever watch Ajax when Erik ten Hag was the manager. Only a couple of games in the Champions League. But is there anybody in the chat who has watched a lot of Erik ten Hag at Ajax? And did Antony work in his system at Ajax? Because I don't really see why he would have signed him if he didn't think he could do the job that he wanted. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're trying to aspire to the football that Erik ten Hag played at Ajax with Antony. We're not there yet. So I don't know. I'm not sure, to be honest. I think it just takes time, and I think it's, you know, the players around him that are just as important. I don't think it's purely Antony. You know, Antony doesn't suit the system. I think it's probably maybe the wing backs don't work. You know, maybe Wan-Bissaka's not good enough going forward. You know, there's probably so many different elements to this. Like, Wan-Bissaka isn't very good going forward. Maybe at maybe at Ajax, the wing back and Antony had a really good relationship. Do you know what I mean? Like, there is more to it than just like Antony doesn't work in the system, Antony's not good enough. Like, I just think that's kind of singling out one player when at the end of the day it is a team game. Maybe Wan-Bissaka's not good enough going forward. Like, do you know what I mean? There's lots of different outcomes there. Simon says he looked amazing at Ajax. We can't really be saying he's a flop at this point, because I thought he had a good season last year. I really, really did. But obviously, if you disagree, that's obviously completely up to you. But right, let's move on though. Let's keep things moving. Right, where are we? All right, let's go back to that. Okay, cool. Right. How did everybody think Pellistri did last night? I thought he did really, really well, Pellistri. And if anybody missed the show last night, it does look like Pellistri will be going out on loan. He's on the brink of signing a new contract at Manchester United, and then he'll be sent out on loan. Most likely, at the moment, it's looking like to Boca Juniors, which I'm not really too sure about, to be completely honest with you. Yeah, I don't really know about that one, to be completely honest. I wouldn't personally do that. I would send him out to a Premier League club. But let me know what you think about that one. I did think Pellistri looked really good last night. I think he could get game time. I do. And as somebody said in the chat before, like, maybe Antony doesn't work the system. Maybe Pellistri does get a chance, you know? But at the end of the day, he didn't really get much game time last year, so he probably is best being loaned. Al says, we are Ajax United. Yeah, I guess so. I guess you could look at it like that. I mean, Eriksen, Onana, who else have we got? Who else has come from Ajax? Obviously, Martinez. Yeah, we've got like 3 or 4 Ajax players, don't we? Yeah, as well, actually, somebody in the chat, thanks for bringing that up. Donny van der Beek last night did really, really well. He got 2 assists. Has anybody's viewpoint on Donny changed since the season started? Is anybody like, I really, really want Donny to stay now, or do you still think it's best he moved on? As we said yesterday, it looks like Donny van der Beek will be going out on loan, not on a permanent deal. What do you guys think about that? I think for me, with Donny, I think unless, again, the same as Dean Henderson, unless we can sell him, I don't really see the point in loaning him out. I don't. Like, loans never really work, do they? Especially for Manchester United. Like, every time we send a player out on loan, they either get injured or they don't perform, and then they come back and their stock value is even less than what it was when we loaned them out. So for me personally, I probably wouldn't bother loaning out Donny van der Beek, and I wouldn't bother loaning out Dean Henderson. Either we sell them on a permanent contract, we get the money, we reinvest it somewhere else in the squad, or we keep them as squad players, because at the end of the day, next season is going to be so, so difficult. Obviously, we're going to be in the Champions League. Last year, we were in the Europa League. The expectations will be higher. The fans are going to expect more than they did last season, for sure. But yeah, so personally, unless we can actually get money for Donny van der Beek, I wouldn't bother loaning him out. Apparently, Real Sociedad are in talks with him to go on loan there, but it's just like, what's the point, you know? He just got 2 assists last night. We should be getting some money for him. Like, I'm sure there is a club who would pay us some money for Donny van der Beek. And at the end of the day, like, he never really has had a proper chance at Manchester United. He got injured, he got brought in and then never got played. So, like, I would either just keep him and give him a go or sell him permanently. I just don't see the point in doing a loan move, to be completely honest with you. Like, you know what's going to happen, right? We'll get into the season and Bruno will get injured. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Bruno's never been injured. And then we'll say, we really need Donny van der Beek now. And we'll be like, we're loaning him out to Real Sociedad. We're paying all of the wages. Like, what's the point? It doesn't make any sense to me. Like, loan moves just, I don't get loan moves. I really, really don't. The only kind of angle I get them is if, you know, it's a 19-year-old player and they need to go and get experience. But Donny van der Beek isn't a 19-year-old player and Henderson isn't a 19-year-old player. Jim says, I'd keep Donny van der Beek, but it depends whether he can get games. Yeah, that does make sense. It does. Yeah, and I guess at the end of the day, we have just signed Mason Mount, who can play in the same position as Bruno Fernandes. So I do agree that his game time will be limited. It would probably be League Cup matches. It would probably be the last kind of 10 to 20 minutes of games if we're winning comfortably. He's not going to be thrown in if we're losing 3-0 to try and change the game around. Yeah, and as somebody says in the chat, like, the issue again is wages. The types of clubs that are interested in Donny van der Beek, your Real Sociedads, your Ajaxes, like all of these types of clubs, I doubt they pay their players anywhere near the amount of money that Donny van der Beek's earning. Like, I'm just having a look at Ajax's wages. You know, £120,000 a week he's on. Yeah, so Ajax's highest earning player is on £76,000 a week. So you can see where the issue is. The issue is that Donny, going back to Ajax, arguably worth way less than he was before because his stock price has plummeted, definitely, is now going to want 120 grand a week. Whereas their highest earning player is on 70. Like, it doesn't really add up, does it? Yeah. So either he goes on a permanent deal. Yeah, but who knows? We'll have to keep an eye on that one. Obviously, we will keep you updated as and when we get more news on Donny van der Beek. But do let me know in the comment section. What would you do with Donny van der Beek? Would you rather loan him out or would you rather keep him? Because at the moment, those are the kind of 2 options that are being floated around. A sale, a permanent sale, seems to have completely disappeared. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about that one. Let me know whether you would keep him at Manchester United. I'm going to read out a couple more of your questions. Everybody who is joining the stream late, please do smash a like on the video and please do subscribe to the channel if you are new. We're 18 subscribers away from 7,600, so please go and subscribe now if you haven't already. We're live every single day at 8 a.m. UK time and 6 p.m. UK time, so do go and subscribe, do get involved in the community. I was thinking about doing my season prediction today. What does everybody think about that? Let me know in the comment section if you want me to do my season prediction video today. I feel like it's a good point. It's 2 weeks until the season starts. I don't think our squad's going to change that much. My kind of opinion today will probably be the same as it will be in 2 weeks. Like, the only other signing we're probably going to get is Amrabat, so I don't really see the issue in doing it today. So I might do it later on. But let me know in the comment section if you want me to do the season prediction. Yeah. There's quite mixed opinions in the chat. Some people saying keep Donny, some people saying he must go. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of fair. I'd say it's 50-50, isn't he? If he can stay fit and he can get game time, I would keep him, but I guess that's the $1 million question, isn't it? Somebody says, how did Eriksen play against Dortmund? Eriksen looked quite good, I thought. But still, I'm not going to lie. I just see Eriksen as a bench player now. I can't see Eriksen playing above Mason Mount or Bruno Fernandes, to be completely honest with you. I think Eriksen is now just a squad player. He's not going to start every match like he was before. And that's why we need Amrabat, because Eriksen isn't the profile to play in a defensive, 2 CDM formation against the Manchester City. Like, he just gets completely overrun. So, yeah. Yeah, it's been quite a quiet day, to be honest with you. I'm just having a look if... Yeah, it's been one of those days where, obviously, because of the football match last night, a lot of the journalists are probably asleep. A lot of people are probably, like Manchester United, are probably all asleep, all of the John Murters and all the rest of it. So it has gone a bit quiet today. You know what? So I'll answer a couple of questions. I'm going to wrap the video up in about 10 minutes. So do get your questions in and I will read out as many as I can before we end the stream. So Simon says, are we going to get a second striker, Kieran? That's the $1 million question. That is the $1 million question. And for me, if I was to do my season prediction today, I would say top 4, right? If we got someone like Harry Kane, I would say we should be challenging for the title. So it is so difficult. And I do honestly think that we need a second striker, 100%. Are we going to get one? I honestly don't know. I really don't. I think Erik ten Hag will want one, but we did get that story coming out last week from all of the different press saying that apparently Jadon Sancho is going to play as a false 9, and apparently Marcus Rashford is going to play as a striker as well. So my guess at this moment in time is probably no. Unless we see people like Maguire leave and McTominay leave, unless we get a load of money in from outgoings, I don't think we'll get a second striker, to be completely honest. I really don't. And it does make me wonder, what happens if Rasmus Hojlund gets injured? What happens if for the first 5 matches he doesn't score any goals? What are we going to do then? Like, maybe we'll get a loan signing. I honestly don't know. It's gone so quiet around a second striker situation. Like, we literally haven't heard a peep out of any journalist about a second striker. The only one is Harry Kane, but I think the Harry Kane situation is probably looking very unlikely. But for me, 100% we need a second striker. Absolutely no doubt about it. Okay, so Voice of Reason says, if we buy Amrabat, what would be your starting lineup? That's a really good question. I did actually do a video about this the other day. So if we're at home against say a lesser team, like a Bournemouth at home, yeah, we're at home, I would do a 4-3-3 and I'd play Mason Mount, Bruno Fernandes and Casemiro as the 3 midfielders. If we're away against like a Manchester City, I'd do a 4-2-3-1 and I'd have Amrabat and Casemiro as the 2 defensive midfielders. That's what I do. And that's kind of how I see it working next season. But I honestly think that Amrabat is an absolutely essential signing for us. I really do, because we'll struggle so much against teams like Liverpool and Manchester City again this season, unless we have someone like Amrabat in that squad. But yeah, let me know what you think about that one. Okay, this is a good question. Big T says, regardless of the results this season, do you see us putting in performances worthy of the badge? I mean, to be completely honest with you, my only expectation for this season, right, is that we play better football. Obviously, I want top 4. That's kind of a given. But is that we play better football? Because last season, I get it. We had to play kind of very tactically. It was quite defensive. Erik ten Hag obviously knew that he needed to get top 4 in his first season, and he achieved that, and he did really well. But we didn't see Erik ten Hag football last year. We didn't. So I do hope that this season we go into it and we do play slightly more attacking football, slightly more controlling football, because even when we were at home against like these lesser teams, the possession was like 50-50, So yeah, that's my main kind of hope for this season, is that we do see some better football, because last season I enjoyed winning the trophy, I enjoyed getting top 4, but overall the football wasn't amazing. I think that's fair to say. It wasn't bad, but I'd say it was kind of average. So yeah, that's my kind of hope for this season. What have we got? Malp says we still haven't got the depth, IMO. The squad needs so much work. Majority of these players that played in the first half last night shouldn't even be at the club. Yeah, I mean, it's a very damning thought, but yeah, I do agree with you in some ways. Like, most of our kind of depth, most of our, our backup players aren't good enough. They really are. And that's what I just said. Rasmus Hojlund, people are already questioning. People are already saying he's not going to score enough goals. He's not good enough. What happens if Rasmus Hojlund gets injured? Who's your second striker? Do you know what I mean? Like, So yeah, I do completely agree with you. Like the depth in Manchester United, although it is getting better, we are getting more depth. We're still a very, very long way off. I mean, when you look at the team last night, Brandon Williams, McTominay, Eriksen, Donny van der Beek, Harry Maguire, Tom Heaton, like all of those people probably should leave the club, shouldn't they? So yeah, I do agree with you. Like our depth isn't actually that solid. You know, when you look at Manchester City, you look at Liverpool, you look at Arsenal. Like Arsenal are about to bring in David Raya as their backup goalkeeper. I mean, that's absolutely crazy, isn't it? They're also linked to that other guy from Napoli. I can't pronounce his name. The one with the really long name. TJ says, I'd prefer a title race this season rather than a cup. Yeah, I mean, but then we're just like Arsenal, aren't we? You know, the Arsenal who were like, oh, we were top for most of the season, but we didn't win. Like, I don't know. That's a good question, though. Let me know in the comment section. Would you prefer this season to win a trophy? Let's say FA Cup, League Cup. I mean, Champions League, obviously, everyone's going to say that. So let's say, would you rather win the FA Cup or the League Cup? Or would you rather be in the race for top 4? Let me know in the comment section what you would go for. I guess it does make sense. Like, a title race is more exciting. Like, the League Cup, it was great, but I mean, what is it? 4 matches that you play and then you win a trophy? It's not really, you know, it's not really that exciting, is it? What else have we got? Adrian says Casemiro and Amrabat would be his first choice. Yeah, I like the look of that. I do. I think that would be a very, very solid midfield and a very difficult midfield to break down. So, yeah, I do agree that would be quite nice. But lots of people saying we need a second striker. Yeah, I honestly, at this point, I think we need to go and get Amrabat and we need to get that done this week. And then we need to go and get a second striker. Obviously, deals can happen in the end, towards the end of the window. Maybe we get a loan move in. I'm not really sure who's available in the loan market. I mean, obviously, Felix is available from Atletico Madrid, but he's going to cost a hell of a lot of money. I probably would just go and get Taremi from Porto, to be completely honest. That would probably be my my preferred option. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens. I do think we need a second striker. I don't think we can solely rely on Rasmus Hojlund in his first season at the club. Right, let's have a look at a few more comments before we end the show. So Miles says, Kieran, clubs are trusting their young players. Why are we not giving a chance to ours? Don't you believe in them? I mean, it's not really up to me, mate. It's up to Erik ten Hag, and he's the one who picks the team. But yeah, I do trust the young players. Like Kobe Mainoo, I would have loved to see him play next season, 100%. But other than that, like, what young players do you think really deserve a chance from our kind of, you know, the under-21s? Obviously, Ahmad, Palestri, like people like that. But do they really count? If you're talking about people who aren't yet in the first team, like people who are, you know, on the brink, there isn't really anybody who's like really jumping out at me from those kind of under-21s at this moment in time. Yeah, let me know. Maybe you guys disagree. Obviously, Kobe Mainoo 100%, but the rest of them, I'm not really too sure about, to be completely honest. Klaus says, can we wait for Tony in January? Yeah. Maybe. I would quite like to get Ivan Toney, I would, but the thing is, Manchester United probably wouldn't go for him because obviously he's had all these gambling charges against him, and they've already got so much stuff going on around Manchester United. I don't think it would do them any good, to be completely honest with you. But I would love to see Ivan Toney at Manchester United. He's a quality player. I think he would suit Manchester United. But yeah, I'm not really too sure whether they'll actually go and do that. Right, this feels like a really good point to wrap up the video, guys. Thank you so much to everybody who has watched today. I appreciate that a lot of you are probably still tired after the match last night, as am I. I do ask that before you leave, please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel if you are new. We will be back at 6 p.m. UK time. So yeah, do get involved in the community. Thank you for watching. Hope you guys have a lovely day, and I'll catch you guys later on. Lots of love and peace out.